The increasing adoption of electronic travel authorizations is by no means a deal breaker, but it does mean that you will have to do some additional research when planning your trip. My name is Aaron. I'm the founder of The MileLion, a website that covers travel, credit cards, and loyalty programs. Singaporeans are used to having one of the most powerful passports in the world, with more than 190 countries available for visa-free travel. However, in recent times, we've seen the rise of something called electronic travel authorisations, or ETAs, which do affect the ability for people to just get up and go. ETAs are a form of pre-screening, which, while not nearly as arduous as the application process for a visa, still require people to obtain approval before traveling to an overseas country. This trend, which was once confined only to a handful of countries such as the USA, Canada, and Australia, has recently been rolled out by additional countries, with the UK, the EU, and Japan all planning to introduce some form of ETA within the near future. ETAs allow a country to conduct pre-screening of travelers before they arrive. And one big reason why countries are moving to ETAs is that just because they have a visa-free travel arrangement with a given country does not automatically mean that every individual within that country is trustworthy. So the whole point of ETAs for the country to be able to conduct the screening on people for things like criminal history, communicable diseases, or anything else that may affect the country's decision to allow admission to a given individual. ETAs provide countries with a mechanism to charge certain fees, such as tourism fees, to foreign visitors. Because these fees do not need to be paid by locals, it would not be practical for airlines to fold them into the overall cost of an air ticket. And therefore, having a separate ETA process allows countries to collect such fees before departure. ETA fees, while not as onerous as those for a visa, can nonetheless be an impediment to more price-sensitive tourists. So one of the reasons why we might be seeing more countries implement ETAs now could be part of a desire to subtly discourage more price-sensitive tourists and instead move up the value chain towards more wealthy and affluent tourists for whom ETA fees barely register. The biggest implication ETAs will have on leisure travel is the removal of the ability to do truly spontaneous travel. Because ETAs typically involve an approvals process that in the best case scenario can be a few hours, but could be as much as a few days, the uncertainty involved means that I can't just purchase a ticket this morning, hope that my application comes through and then fly tonight. More likely, we're going to be seeing people having to plan their holidays a bit earlier in advance. If the ability to do spontaneous travel is important to you, one thing you can do is to apply for your ETA in advance so you always have it ready to go. The problem is, ETA validity starts from the date of approval and not the date that you enter the country. And so if you do this, you're effectively wasting the period between your approval as well as the time that you enter the country. And some people might not like that. The increasing prevalence of ETAs means that Singaporeans will have to get comfortable with doing some additional research and paperwork before they travel. The good news is that the ETA application process is nowhere as complicated as applying for a visa, which typically involves higher fees, in-person interviews, as well as visits to a consulate. In that sense, ETAs are hardly a deal breaker, though they are still an additional thing on your to-do list before you fly.